Good morning, everyone. Hello and welcome to the Capsule. This is take two, which you wouldn't have known unless I just told you that. Some different things about this episode. The first one is that we have new mugs, and the second one is that we have a guest in the house. And yeah, I was going to make the same joke I made in the last one, but I feel like it's not genuine now. But yeah, what's up, everyone? Hope you're good. We have Mr. Kieran Warner in the house. How's it going, Kieran?
The crowd goes wild. Wow. I'm good, thank you.
Lovely to hear.
Do you know the song Tribute?
The Jack Black,
like we wrote the greatest song in the world, but like that's basically what we did. We did the best podcast ever.
That's true.
But we just didn't record it properly, so this is the tribute of that.
This is the best podcast in the world, the best podcast episode in the world. Tribute.
Yeah.
Sick. That sounds like it might be a title right there. We might have found it. We might have found the title, the best podcast episode in the world.
What's gonna suck is when it doesn't have that title.
Yeah.
But now I've like free versus yeah.
Now I've committed to it.
Yeah.
Hope everyone's good. We are recording this early enough in the morning that we're both tired. So I hope you don't zoom in and see some sleep in our eyes. Yeah, me and Kieran are doing rehearsals this week, so I thought I'd have him on the pod, seeing as some of you out there seem to like him for some reason. Fucking... because he brought light feet and did some cool stuff, I guess. Yeah, so I guess what happened this week, we it's like I'm kind of going back over the same stuff, but you'll never hear that because that was in the best podcast episode in the world. And this is just a tribute. But yeah, I guess what we were talking about is that a lot of things are not opening back up too quick because obviously it's January and people were on holidays over Christmas, so a lot of the events and workshops and stuff would have started being planned in the beginning of January. But what Kieran said also, which is important, is that we didn't know that we would even be open. We got these lockdown restrictions that were going to happen before Christmas and then didn't, were going to happen before New Year and then didn't. And then, so now I guess everybody's only just realizing, all right, I think we're in the clear. So then people are probably going to start putting in their plans in January. So we probably won't see the event scene explode, at least until like February onwards now. But from all accounts, it feels like, touch wood, I don't have any wood, that it seems like we're heading to be all in the clear in terms of like just getting on with life with COVID and stuff. But yeah, so anywho,
I'm really disappointed. You said touch wood and I reached for a plant. I should have just done...
that's what she said, joke or something?
Yeah.
Well,
it's gone now.
Next time. That what you would have done in the
but that's basically what I did in the first one.
That's true. But this is just a tribute.
It's just tribute.
There. So yeah, this weekend there was only a couple of things. AIM had their workshop. Seems like it went well. Yeah, this is the second workshop that they've done. And yeah, I think it's good to... They did have a class. I don't know how packed it was, but it seems like the workshops are super packed. And I think having a workshop scenario kind of creates that audience where a weekly class requires a bit more commitment. And if you're not used to their teaching or them as teachers, the workshops kind of is like, oh, let me just go to that one and check it. And then you're like, oh, let me just go to the next one because the last one was pretty good. And you kind of build up that audience that way. So I think a workshop like model in terms of like building an audience for your class is a good way of doing things. So that's dope that they've kind of done a smart move with that. And yeah, what were you saying about Frankie and Clara did? Because I've been talking about this, but I don't really know.
They just do workshops every certain, I don't know if it's every 6 weeks, every month, or just whenever they're both in the country together. And it seems to pay off rather than having a weekly class, which because the problem with a lot of like our scene, the jobs we take means we can't do a weekly class without it being covered.
And it's like, I think battle styles as well, it's like we we're not in the habit or like the kind of, I guess, like the culture of going to a weekly class to do styles. There's some people that are, but mostly like we rather do workshops for some reason than like drill the shit every week at class.
It's weird because I'm thinking about it, and part of it in my mind is like, yeah, it makes sense because we go to a class or a workshop, whatever we've learned, we need now to process and train on. But then if we look at something like ballet, they will do like professional class, or like in their schools they'll do a class every single day, repeating the same shit.
Well, if you look at Kev's, like Monsters and those guys training at Kev's is like the repetition of doing the drills every week. But I think it's what you do in the class, because it's like...
True, because most classes aren't just drilling because new people don't want to drill. So
it's just like if you're let's say an established popper or whatever, it may be less useful for you to just go and learn like a routine of popping or like different moves every week, because you're already developing your own style, and at a certain point your creativity comes in. But if you're just drilling and like working on your craft kind of thing in that way and just refining those skills, that could be useful. But I guess no one's really... I think this is something that's missing, but it's like classes and workshops and stuff for the mid-level, as opposed to like beginner. Like, yes, you can go to a class and like pick up some new house steps or whatever, but there's not like a weekly regular thing for people who are already pretty good but need to like drill. You know what I mean? I think you'd get a different audience, and it might take time.
It's really weird, isn't it? Because I was talking to some of the K-Fam lot, because recently I bring them to my classes to assist at different workshops and things, and it's sort of like how I format each one. And I have a mix of like drilling, putting stuff together, and exercises for them to create or whatever. But it changes, because one school I go to might be like, oh, we want to spend time on learning like a sick bit of choreography. And in my mind, I don't think that's beneficial to the same level. It's beneficial as in you're having to pick up stuff and you're having to learn transitions quickly, and maybe like the level of it isn't stuff they would have created themselves, and now they can sort of build upon that. But in the sense of me going home and then being able to like still learn the style or train the style,
there's not like longevity in what you've learned.
But for them it's fun and exciting and like energetic, and that's the benefit they want. And it's like it's a hard one to manage, because I think at our level now, we're like, to get better we need to drill, and like we'll happily take a class with no fun, just drilling, because that's what we find fun. Whereas a lot of people are like, I don't want that.
And I think there's a difference between like professional development and like beginners classes in a way. And I don't find there's a lot besides. Maybe that's what the workshop model is. Like whenever there's a workshop, we kind of subconsciously think, oh, this is more for like professionals or whatever, whereas like the beginner class, like the weekly classes are maybe, I don't know, we feel like they're more for beginners even if they're not. Like I did a workshop with Feist, and it was like 2 days. Remember, who was that?
Soul Footwork.
Soul Footwork, yeah. It was like 2 days, and it was like 6 hours each day. But for me, that was like the perfect level, because it was like not beginner stuff, but it was like enough time to like go and delve deep into like, all right, you can already freestyle and do hip hop. Here's like my approaches, and you know, for me, as like, I always think about that. Like, I wish there was more stuff like that. Not even just with people like Feist, but like anyone. Like, if you did like, a day-long workshop, I'd come to that, as opposed to like if you did like an hour class. Because I'm like, yeah, okay, like I can go to Kieran's class for an hour, but it's like I'd rather spend more time delving in. Anyway, I think Tally's workshop is good for that. She does like a whole week worth of stuff, and it's like I'd rather take time to develop myself in that way than just like you said, like learn some choreography every week.
In the best podcast in the world, that you did mention as well, like the audience looks like in the workshop a higher level, or not just new people. It looks like poppers go into it, whereas like when you see Sean's class, a lot of the people aren't necessarily the people we know as poppers. It's
like either people who do other styles, or like choreo dancers, or like I think it's, but I mean, I think this is something that people miss in a marketing context all the time, but it's like what your target audience is going to be different, and it's like you can aim it at a certain target audience.
See what you did there?
What?
You can aim it.
You can like you can aim it at a certain target audience, or you can kind of respond to who tends to come, you know. But I mean, in general, a lot of people miss that with like events and stuff. But anyway, not to spend too long on that. Shout out to AIM for that.
1,000 well wishes to AIM.
1,000 well wishes to that for that. That's another joke from the best podcast in the world, but this is not that. This is just a tribute.
Yeah.
And yeah, it seems like they're doing well, and a lot of people are coming. So yeah, if you don't know about AIM or their workshops, check out their Insta, and yeah, keep posting, because I'm sure they're going to do more, especially if these keep being successful. The other thing that happened was a culture crossover event at Peckham Levels. This was an event, I'm just looking it up on my own page because that's where all the information is. This was an event at Peckham Levels run by, I believe, Jilly and a guy called Sam, who is a UEL graduate. I don't know what the infrastructure of the event is, like whether it's Jilly's and Sam's assisting or if they run it together or anything like that, so apologies guys. But yeah, they ran an event at Peckham Levels, which seems like it went well. I believe the first edition of this was either part of or featured on a TV show called Peckham's Finest, which I believe is like a reality TV show on ITV, that I actually don't know much about, to be honest. I'm not really a reality TV guy. I just saw that it was featured on the on the flyer. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if they created the event because of the show or if the show just happened to film at the event, but the first edition was that. This edition, I think they're just carrying it on. Mechanical won the 1v1. I think it was all styles. Mechanical won the 1v1 against Tom, who Silk Boogie's pop-in partner for a lot of Just a Booze in the past and other things, I think. And Tom and Silk Boogie together won the 2-on-2 against Not Nice and Artful D.
Imagine if we cause a rift between Tom and Silk, because every time someone says Tom, people are like, oh, who? And it's like, Silk, the one who battles with Silk Boogie.
And he's like,
not that Tom isn't good enough to be known, but because Tom's like a name that anyone can be called.
True. And Silk is like, it's a unique name that there's only one Silk, but there's a few Toms. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so that'd be funny if Tom's like, I can do it without you, Silk.
Love you, Tom.
Do it, battle him, take him out. No, Silk's been on his shit. I guess like what we were talking about in the greatest podcast in the world, that this is not, but this is just a tribute. We were saying that Silk, I guess, moved to London, you said in like June or something?
Yeah,
like mid of last year.
I remember summer we crossed over and he just moved.
Yeah, and when you just left.
Yeah.
Because there's only room for one good dancer in London.
Southwestern
I don't know.
Dancer.
There we go. Yeah. But yeah, no, I guess since Silk's been here, he's been racking up a few wins, and if he hasn't been winning, he's been in finals and stuff, so that's dope. I think he's one of the like stronger people of that kind of generation. I know he for sure had his sights on taking out people like Brooke and Breaks and Marvel, because I know he's a competitive motherfucker. But yeah, like I think, you know, I wish him the best of luck in still kicking their heads in at some point, but I think he's also like definitely like proven himself as like the kind of like front runner of this generation, and like especially where we were saying a lot of kind of our generation of battlers are like either having families or battling less or whatever, is kind of creating this space. Especially I see it within popping, where there's like space for these people to like kind of not succeed more, because like they still succeeded when they were around,
but have their moment.
Yeah, and there's more room for them, you know. If it's a top 8 and 4 of them is like Breaks, Marvel, Brooke and Sean, do you know what I mean? It's like, all right, there's only 4, but now if those people are battling less, then, you know, you get more space to see other people you don't usually see, which I think is a fucking good thing, you know. It's nice to have some fresh energy. But yeah, so shout out to Silk, shout out to Mechanical for still winning stuff like however many years down the line. So that's dope. And yeah, the judges were Breaks, Ice and Karam, which is a fucking solid lineup for all styles. obviously it's kind of leaning more towards like popping, hip hop and breaking. But I would also say that's the majority of dancers in the UK is poppers, hip hop, and like it's the biggest percentage of people. So that's actually not a bad shout. Do you know what I mean? Because if you had like a crumper, a whacker, and a voguer, cool, but chances are, maybe it would bring a different approach to dance. It's not to say that they wouldn't understand the styles, but yeah, I guess it represents the styles that are going to be represented the most.
Yeah, and within that, I think Karam's the only one who probably is mainly focused on his stuff. Like
true,
Breaks has performed in other styles, like done
true.
Tanea has done other styles, so
yeah, they know enough to like not just cover what they do.
Yeah,
and I'm sure. I mean, Karam's been at like. Yeah, I know he sticks to like breaking stuff, but he's been at like some big events.
He joined my workshop when we were in Manchester.
Sick.
Like, and then he showed me some footage of him like banging tic-tac-toe in a battle.
Oh,
like,
sick.
So,
that's cool.
Yeah, it's not that he can't do other stuff.
Yeah. But also it's like with him traveling and being at big events, he's probably been around. You know what I mean? It's like Sonny probably knows more about like popping than some poppers. Yeah. But just because he's around the best poppers in the world, like you can't tour with Red Bull without seeing high level popping. So it's like, you know, I think we get stuck in this thing of like, oh, but that person's a breaker, so they don't know anything about it. It's like,
defo. Like, I was just making the
sure.
He's fully capable to judge
for sure. And it's like also like, I mean, this is a whole nother topic, but like, people think that just because a judge dances a certain way, that's how they're going to judge.
Yeah,
it's like, oh yeah, he's not going to vote for me because he does all this stuff, and it's like sometimes people dance completely differently from how they judge. Like I think I'm like that. Like I know that the way I dance is a certain choice, but I know that I've chosen to like break some rules in certain things, but I wouldn't judge based on how I dance because I know I'm breaking, you know what I mean? Like I judge on what I think the style should be, even if I've chosen to break the rules. And the same way I teach, like I don't teach the way I dance really. Like this is an approach, but I make sure I, focus on different things because it's like, anyway, whole nother topic. Shout out to Culture Crossover and happy to see...
Artful and Not Nice.
Oh yeah, and Artful and Not Nice for getting to the finals. Like, yeah, we were saying like, Artful D's been like consistent for time. Like he's always makes an impression when he's at a battle, and Not Nice is good to see like someone newish. Like he's not brand new, but he's like this year he's been more around than before.
Yeah.
And someone not from London as well.
Yeah, not from London, newish in the battle scene, and always like being memorable.
And he's like mainly a light feet dancer.
Yeah, I think light feet, breaking, hip hop.
Yeah, I like those guys. I like him and Ty and their group of people. I think they're good guys, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Shout out to all the people involved. What else? Oh, Break Mission announced that they are doing their event again this year, which isn't a surprise because they've been doing it for 10 years at this point. And this is actually their 10th anniversary. 17th, 18th, and 19th of June, 2022. Yeah, in Birmingham. They're doing, obviously it's like a breaking focused event. 3-on-3 breaking, 1-on-1 breaking, B-girl battle, under 16s, and the concrete battle. What were you saying that concrete battle is?
They literally breaking rules, but just on concrete.
Okay.
Because there's certain limitations to what moves you're going to throw and maybe land a bit.
Yeah, if you want to maintain your body.
Yeah. So it's like a different skill set.
Okay, cool.
Maybe I should up it like on pin. Just put pins on the floor.
Yeah, the floor is on fire. Yeah, and then they're doing all-star 1-on-1, whacking 1-on-1, and yeah, that's it. I'm sure they'll have some like showcases and stuff as well. So yeah, that's dope, and I'll probably be there if I'm not working for you at some point in the summer, because that's when we tend to do work together. And yeah, Break Mission is a good event. I like to see bigger, consistent events that are like outside of London as well. I think that's dope to like spread the scene out and like, give different people opportunities, but also like it's nice to travel up to stuff and like see different cities, and I think that's part of the fun of the battle circuit, like going to someone else. And it's like in a way there's kind of like a home court advantage. It's like when you're in Birmingham, it's like, all right, I'm not in London, I'm not a lot of my people are here. It's like a different vibe, and then the people from Birmingham can have all their familiar surroundings or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, it's not really any different, but it just feels like different to be out of your home. Like,
and it's also like you've traveled, you might not have slept well, you know, like there's all different things that are gonna like contribute, and it just like makes it more exciting when you're in unfamiliar territory. I find, like, I love battling like in different countries and stuff where it's like you don't know anyone, and it's like, I mean, obviously Birmingham not like a different country, but yeah, it's just the vibe where you're not in your familiar surroundings. It kind of, I think it makes it more exciting, but equally it's nice to battle at home, you know. Anyway, yeah, so check out Break Mission's page for details, and yes, that is that. Lastly, you know, I realized as well, like you were the first guest ever on the interviews. Kieran was like, we were just over there and I did a terrible job of the filming and editing, and I'll be embarrassed. I'm already embarrassed about that, but wait for another fucking few years of this, I'll be even more embarrassed. It's horrible to me. Like the filming and editing, like even this is like super simple, but just like the quality and lighting and setup of this is already better than what I was trying to do then. I think I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, to be honest.
It's sick that you can notice such differences in like basically 50
episodes. Yeah. And I think even like the conversations we have, like I didn't know what I was doing in terms of like talking about stuff, or like I think that's definitely developed in terms of like the conversations I'm having. I feel way more relaxed now. The first like 4 or 5 I was like shitting myself, like I didn't know what to talk about, or like what, like should we say people's names?
I was shitting myself. I was like,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, so anyway, and then obviously like you're the second guest on the Capsule pod. Vanessa got the scoop because she was at BC1, but
let her off because she's a bit older than me. So like,
is she? She's my age.
No, she's my age, but like
a little bit older,
like a week.
Oh, okay,
yeah. Aries, 92.
Kids, fucking children. Yeah. So, lastly, it's not the only reason you're here, but it's one of the reasons you're here. What did you want to tell the people?
So, firstly,
I've
got a bit of a cough. I've tested. It's not that thing that we all think it's going to be. So I'm going to keep sipping this to try and keep the cough away. So In the House and Firehouse have come together in the Firehouse to present the Kingdoms League. Ooh. So this is a battle league which sort of praises the consistency that people have in the scene. Mm-hmm. There are 5/6 events throughout the league, so you have your chance to earn points every event you go to. You join the league literally by entering, so everyone who enters one of these events is on the league and you get 1 point.
Not like gets through prelims, just like if you sign up and enter.
Just sign up,
okay,
get on that floor, do a prelim. Even if your prelim's dead, you get a point.
Cool.
But to get enough point, you need to start working your way up.
Yeah.
The winner of each one gets 10 points. So obviously you're like, yeah, cool, 10 points versus 1. You know what you want to do.
Yeah.
All of the points add up to take us to a grand final at the end of the year. So it's a year-long league. And at the end of the year, we're looking for the top pointers of hip-hop and popping.
Cool.
So we're just doing the 2 categories to start the thing off.
So all the events... So you have how many events in the year so far?
So there's going to be 5 for... I think it's 5 for popping and 4 for hip-hop.
You say 5 or 6? 5
Maybe
and 6.
It was 6.
I think in the greatest podcast in the world that this is just a tribute to, I think you said 6 popping and 5 hip-hop, but I could be wrong.
I could have been wrong as well.
Oh,
I should have solidified that or had my notes out.
That's all right.
Where this is the tribute, I don't have my notes for this one. So
you'll have to see the greatest podcast in the world, but you can't.
I'll go through so I can count at the same time anyway. So we kick things off next month. With Paintings Week.
Which is run by
In the House. So that'll be your first opportunity to enter.
So there'll be a popping and hip hop battle that it's the first
and
battle
that is
league.
The finale of Paintings Week, so it's the very end of the week. The week is dope, so you want to be there anyway. Then in March we have the AIM event.
And that's going to be just popping.
That's just popping, so there's no hip hop category.
Cool.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, hip hoppers, but like,
we're AIM. We love popping. Wow.
Then into April we have West Country Clash.
Cool. Who's running that one?
Me. Myself and Tyler from Your Next Move. So that will be back for hip hop and popping. Mm-hmm. Then into the summer we have the Firehouse Weekender.
Yep.
Which we had last year.
And that's both styles.
Yep. And then Light Fest is having hip hop and a popping category on the first day.
Cool. So then after all those events, you'll tally up the points that people have. Anyone that enters plus anyone that gets through gets more points in semis and finals. They get more points. Then at the end, you'll tally up all the points, and there'll be another event, which will be the grand final.
With just the ones with the most points being involved.
Do you know at this point how many you're taking, or what the...
It's likely to be 8. Yeah, we're looking to have the top 8 pointers of hip hop and the top 8 pointers of popping.
And then that will be like an invite only kind of top 8 battle. Sick.
But the grand finale is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be just your standalone go to an event, watch and like
there'll be all sorts of...
I said already, but
that was in the greatest podcast in the world.
We just had Christmas. I don't want to give you everything yet.
Yeah, right.
So you can wait to find out what's going to happen there.
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting because you're going to get those people who are like, sounds cool. I want to earn my spot in the grand finale and also a grand crash prize. I said the same yesterday. Cash prize.
Grand crash prize. Cash prize.
So yeah, you could jump in early and try and do well or win the first couple of events just to make sure you're hitting the points early. Or it might be a thing where people are like, oh, I've actually nearly got enough points. If I go to the next 2 events, I can probably grab them.
So obviously the best way to do well in this is to do well and be at all the events. Because if you miss one, that's other people are going to overtake you.
Yeah.
Interesting. Cool.
And the more you do well at, the more you'll sort of screw your opponents up because that's less points for them to take.
True, right? If you take up a spot in the semis, that's one less point, like points that they can get. Interesting. All right, cool. So that starts mid-February.
Yep.
Cool. And there's an Instagram that people can check out.
Yep. Right here. If you're listening and you're not watching the video, I've not remembered what it is.
The Instagram will be in the description of the whatever you're listening to now. It will be there with the time codes if you're listening and just watching. If not, you can also go to the Capsule Instagram and we will have a post there. Probably by the time this podcast is released, it will be there, so you can check out the Instagram. But definitely go follow the Instagram so you can keep up to date with the events and the point system. Obviously, the Capsule will keep you updated because that's what we do. And so you can follow the Capsule too if you're not already. And yeah, any other details on the Battle League?
Yeah, actually, so the first one at Paintings Week, because we're doing it at Red Bull, it's over 18s venue.
Okay.
So we don't want to sort of make it harder for the under 18s, although it still kind of does. But any under 18s who after Paintings Week are joining in with the league, they get a handicap bonus of 2 points.
Right.
In a way, obviously, an under 18 could have won and got 10 points. So it kind of ruins it for them. It's just
something,
But obviously, they may not have got through. So yeah, it's just something to keep them involved so that they're not like, oh, it's unfair.
So if you're under 18, you won't be able to go to the first Battle League event. But in the second Battle League event, you will have a 2-point handicap if you're under 18.
Yeah.
Because of not being able to go to the first one.
Yeah.
Cool. That makes sense. Cool. Well, yeah, looking forward to seeing that. I think the Battle League, what's it called? Kingdoms League.
The Kingdoms League.
The Kingdoms League. I like that. I think it's a dope idea. And you said it's open to international dancers too.
Yes, anyone, literally anywhere can enter. Kingdoms League is based in the United Kingdom, but it's open for everyone. If you come and smoke it from another country, you could end up with enough points to get into to be invited for the final. So don't worry about that. It's just obviously if you're based here, you're more likely to be able to travel about and get to all the events.
Yeah. Sick. I think that's dope. I think a league is a dope idea, something that people have been like waiting for. And I think, so who's the organization?
So Firehouse and In the House, but like individually. So it's myself, Brooke, Dixon, Sean and Clara.
Which I think is a dope 5 people of like people that have been, you know, organising events and have done stuff across especially in London, but across the like UK scene. So it's like, it's an event we can trust, I think. Sick. Well, happy to hear that. And yeah, everyone check out the page. And yeah, make sure you're at all the events. I will be there trying to kick you guys off those point spots. unless you hire me to film. But yeah, awesome. And yeah, I think that's it really. If you what was I gonna say? Yeah, go on.
Because the events we have right now are our events,
yeah.
But what we did mention in the best podcast in the world, but
this is just a tribute,
is that any future events or events that are happening and want to be involved, like, we're up for a conversation.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't work out for this year, maybe next year you want to get your event in with us. So
do get in touch if you
let
think.
one of us know. We can have a meeting and sort of see, because eventually it could be that there's like 50 events which you could do, or maybe even it's just 10. Like,
I think it definitely should be included in more events, and I would, from someone who's not involved in the organization, encourage events that are listening to get your shit involved in this, or at least hit them up and have the conversation, because I think the more events that can join this, the better it's going to be, and we're going to create some infrastructure and some like something that will create like some longevity in battles, and it's not just show up, win 50 quid or 100 quid and then go home and then start again with the next one. So yeah, as a dancer in the scene, I encourage that. And if you're a dancer in the scene who thinks that's a good idea, get in touch with events that you know about and tell them about this and tell them to get involved, because events will respond to the customer. So like, if you want that to happen, get in touch with your local event and tell them to do it, you know, and tell these guys, you know, that like show support. I hate the fucking word support, but like tell them it's a good idea, you know, and go to the events and show that it's worth keeping.
Because we have it in sport already.
Yeah.
Like, there's a number of ways to qualify or to earn points for what you need for whatever you're in. So it's just going to be that sort of thing. Like, I'd rather get like a base level of points in a bunch of events to get enough, or actually I'd rather just do sick at a couple of events to get enough. Like,
because if you get quarters in every battle, you lose in the quarterfinals, but each event is not the same people and you're the only one that's been consistent. You're in that top 8, like, even if you just didn't even get to semis in any of them. So yeah, it like changes up the whole approach to battling, which I think is dope. I guess it was like similar approach with Undisputed, right?
Yeah, exactly. Undisputed already have like the similar thing. There's other battle leagues as well that are doing similar thing too. So
yeah, awesome.
And sort of we mentioned, if me and you had the exact same points and we're both in a semi-final, it's like one of us needs these points.
Like, we might not even care about winning the event. I just want to get further than you in that event. Like, yeah, I think that's dope. Yeah, cool. Well, all right. So if you are listening and you don't follow the Capsule, please go follow the Capsule. Please check out, it's at thecapsule.ldn.
We mentioned stuff about graphenometry.
What did we mention about graphenometry?
About what you're going to be doing there.
Oh, yeah. And we're going to be at Graphenometry. Thanks for the reminder from the best podcast in the world that this is not, because this is just a tribute. The Capsule is going to be at Graphenometry. We're going to be doing some podcasts and there's like a live panel talk, and we're going to be doing some private, let's say not live podcasts that will be released afterwards. So you'll hear about that afterwards. They're going to be dope. I'm excited for that. And I'm excited to be at Graphenometry. And I think follow the Instagram of the Capsule. In the Instagram bio, we have our Spotify playlist. So if you're a Spotify user, go add some songs and listen to other people's. Just put it on shuffle, and there's some dope stuff in there. I listen to that when I'm driving. We have the link to donate to the Capsule. So there's some projects that we want to do, and that will require hiring studio space. If we can't record here or at UEL where we usually record, we need to hire studios, and that costs money. So all of these things help the Capsule to keep going and kind of takes the pressure off, I guess. So thank you to everyone that has donated so far. It's been people that I would never expect to even know what the Capsule was, but they're donating, and I'm like, that's super dope. So thank you for that. And, you know, even if it's like £2 or something, it contributes, you know. What else? So lastly, there is a young producer called Lotus. His Insta is at lotus.yg. Got some dope tracks that are exclusive. He has sent us exclusively, so shout out to him for these. I think he's dope, and definitely go check out his Insta and keep posted for when he does start releasing music for you to consume and buy. But yeah, if you listen closely, the song might have already started. But yeah, so this week's track is by Lotus, and thank you to him for sending us this beat pack. Yeah, big fan of the stuff that he sent. It is some nice shit. So
big ups to YG anyway.
Yeah. I think I'm pretty sure he's part of Young Geniuses. I think that's what the YG stands for, but they're a dope bunch. And yeah, if you listen closely, the drop might be arriving, and it might happen right